Hey guys, it's Pastor Max with another Motivational Monday. Motivational Monday is a time where we spend some time in the scriptures just hearing what the word says and letting the word get into our heart, because the Bible says, I have hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. And I think that's an important thing, especially as we look at today's passage. And that is Matthew 18, and it's starting at verse 15. And I just wanted to really spend some time in this one for a second. And it says this: if your brother sins against you, go and tell his fault between you and him alone. If he listens to you, you gained a brother. But if he does not listen, take one or two others along with you, that every charge may be established by the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. If he refuses to listen to them, tell it to the church. And if he refuses to listen even to the church, let him be to you as a Gentile and a tax collector. Truly I say to you, whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Again, I say to you, if 2 of you agree on earth about anything they ask, it will be done for them by the Father in heaven. For where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am among them. I think that's an important verse, and I think it's a verse that's often really overlooked by believers, because one of the things that happens is that sometimes we disagree with people who we love. We disagree with our brothers and sisters, and God gives clear instruction about that, because how we handle our disagreements helps to show how much we love Christ. The Bible says they'll know that we are his disciples by our love, both our love for him and our love for others. And so we have to be very careful in how we handle our disagreements, how we handle our all of our things that happen with conflict with brothers and sisters. And one of the things it says here is, if your brother sins against you, go and tell his fault between you and him. When something happens and we have a disagreement, the very first thing that needs to happen is that we need to go to our brother and sister one-on-one, face-to-face, and have a real talk. We need to let them know what we're feeling. But one of the things that I've seen in the church and in God's people is sometimes we let the same pettiness that happens in the world happen in us as believers. And the truth is this: we got to grow up in God. We got to grow up in Jesus. We got to learn to handle our business as believers. And sometimes that means going to somebody and letting them know, hey, I'm going through this. I'm dealing with this. You caused this. You've made me feel this way, and I need to tell it to you. Before we go around and we start telling everybody else all the baggage and all the drama and all the business, we got to have the maturity to go to another believer. And then if after we've gone to that brother or sister, they're not willing to hear us, now we can go to somebody else. Now we can bring somebody else into it. But guys, we got to grow up in our faith, because if we can handle our conflicts maturely, then the love of Christ, it beams and it shines more brightly amongst people who may not know him. Why would somebody want to know the Jesus that you say you know if you don't want to act like you know him? Why would somebody want to know the Jesus you know if you're bringing the same level of drama and the same level of hurt and pain that the world brings into the church? Guys, we got to show Jesus in every part of our lives. And guess what? Sometimes that means killing the flesh. Sometimes that means not acting the way we want to in the flesh, but handling things the way God tells us to handle them in the scriptures, so that we can magnify his love to everyone around us. Guys, that's a Motivational Monday. All I want to motivate us today is to live as believers, to walk as believers, to talk as believers, and to act as believers. We'll see you guys again next week for another Motivational Monday. Guys, spend some time in Matthew 18 this week, because God is trying to do something in each and every one of us. See you guys next week. If this has blessed you, leave something in the comments. If there's a verse that you want us to get to, leave it in the comments, and maybe we'll get to it in a future video. Take care and God bless.